The most common mistake you might make when starting a business is overcomplicating the whole thing, right? And it makes sense. Starting a business can feel very overwhelming. There's a lot of steps. It might be new to you. But if you've tried to start a business before and failed, or you've never tried to start because it feels too overwhelming for you, make sure to stick around, because in this video, I'm going to give you a very simple framework that's going to help you get results much faster than you ever could otherwise. Who am I? Well, my name is Pat Flynn. I help people start businesses. No, I don't help people become millionaires overnight, but I have helped people quit their jobs and start their own thing and live a much happier, more fulfilling life. I've helped people create side hustles that allow them to make more money and do more things than they would want to do otherwise. And I've been building businesses myself. I own several, from physical products to digital products. I speak on stage. I've written several books. In fact, one of my most successful books is about starting a business. Now, the issue with that book was it felt very heavy. It's 300 plus pages long. And in this video, I don't know how long it's going to be, probably under 10 minutes, I'm going to distill for you a very simple framework that's going to help you go from the start to getting a result. And that's where it all starts, because once you get that result, even if it's a small one, you start to build the momentum towards success. So make sure you subscribe if you haven't already, because this is what my channel is about. And let's dive into this framework. So not too long ago, I published a video focusing on Tim Ferriss. Tim Ferriss had helped me personally by asking me, hey, if you want to do something, ask yourself this question. If this were simple, what would it look like? And that's the approach I always take with everything. Now, that is a very, very wise way to approach things, right? Removing the complications, but it's not very specific, especially when it comes to starting a business. I am somebody who needs step-by-step approaches, and I want to give that to you here. So what it's called is the 5-1s strategy. And what I love about this approach is it takes a lot of principles that I learned from this book right here, Gary Keller and Jay Papasan, who wrote The One Thing, and that is only allowing yourself to focus on one thing at a time to give yourself a better chance to win and move forward to the next step, right? And oftentimes when you knock over that first domino, it knocks the next one over and knocks the next one over, and that's much easier than trying to spread yourself thin and taking the spaghetti to the wall approach, which is what a lot of us do when we try to start new things. So here it is. The first one is choosing one specific niche to focus on. Any good business solves a problem, and the problem is when you try to build a business that solves everybody's problem, you're actually going to build a business that doesn't actually do anything at all. As I often say, the riches are in the niches. And yes, I know it's pronounced niches, but that doesn't rhyme as well. The beauty of niching down is that as you niche down, yes, you are removing people who you might be able to serve with a solution that'll come later. But you're actually cutting through the noise. You're actually getting rid of competition, and you're more easily able to connect with those people because you could speak the language that they will understand. Think about it. When people are searching for something, let's say, for example, they have a pain in their ear, right? They're not going to go to Google and search, how do I get rid of pain in my body? They're going to be very specific. How do I get rid of a piercing pain in my left ear, for example? And then they're going to find information about that. This is how we search for information. And so when you can show up to offer specific solutions to people's specific problems, it's going to be more easy for people to go, oh, you are the person I need to follow. You also have the ability to find these people more easily because those people often hang around with other people like them. Maybe not people who have ear problems, but maybe. But for example, let's consider the big giant niche of health and fitness. Well, within that, let's think about the runners. And within that, let's think about male runners. And within that, think about men who are running their first 5K. Right? That's very different from somebody who's a male runner who might be running marathons all the time. And as a result of that, you could find perhaps where these people are. You can better come up with solutions to solve their very specific problems, and you're just going to have a much easier time. So pick one market or niche down. The riches are in the niches. Pick one to start with. That's the first step. The next number two, would be considering a single platform to actually produce content on. Yes, you could focus immediately on providing a solution, but when you pick one content platform, it makes everything so much easier. Now, the hard part about this is by picking one, you're leaving all the others behind. And this is why people always want to start a podcast and start a blog and start a video channel and start a TikTok and an Instagram and a LinkedIn all at the same time. But the truth is, again, if you choose all of them at the same time, you're going to end up nowhere. And consider it from your audience's point of view, people who want to connect with you because you have a very specific solution. If you're just showing up 10% on each of these platforms, why would a person follow you? When you pick one platform, let's say, for example, Instagram, or maybe you're going to own podcasting, or maybe you're going to crush a YouTube video, not only are you going to find your people there, but you're also going to learn how to master that platform much faster. Imagine trying to learn all the best tips and mastering everything from SEO to algorithms to what makes a great title to what makes a great description on all the different platforms at the same time versus just doing that on YouTube or just doing that as a podcaster or just doing that on the written blog. You make your life so much easier by picking one niche and choosing one content platform to master. Now, yes, I have a podcast and a blog and a YouTube channel. However, I didn't start all of those at the same time. I started the blog in 2008 at smartpassiveincome.com, started the YouTube channel here in 2009, started my podcast in 2010, started speaking on stage in 2011, started writing books in 2013. I took an iterative approach. Once I mastered one thing and started to get the systems down, I started to get time back to then focus on bringing new audience members in from these other channels. But at the start, pick one channel, learn everything you can about that, own that space, that niche on that platform, and then go from there. How do you know which content platform to pick? I would have it be a combination of where you know your target audience exists, so you might need to do some research first, and secondly, what would get you to produce, right? If you're not really into video and you're scared of putting yourself on camera, yeah, I mean, you could do it and learn how to do it, but if you are more of a voice person or a writer, then start with those first. Maybe you are maybe a little bit more extroverted by nature and you would do pretty well on video, well, start a YouTube channel. But you gotta pick one or else you're gonna drive yourself crazy. All right, next, the third one is choosing one communication platform. So you've got your niche, right? You've got your content platform that you've chosen, and now you got to pick a form of communication with those people to a point where you can send direct messages, right? Some platforms like Instagram, for example, allow you to connect with and communicate with your audience more directly. Some platforms like maybe YouTube and even podcasting don't allow you to do that very simply. So yes, this means that if you have a YouTube channel or a podcast, choose one social media platform to be able to connect with your audience on that platform and have direct messages with your audience, right? The direct messages will eventually come, and that's something you want to shoot for, because when you build these personal relationships, these one-on-one relationships, you can better understand who it is you're serving, and you can even utilize those relationships to help build a business off of, right? We are taking an audience-driven approach where we build the audience first from that niche that we chose on that platform and using this communication platform that we choose to then serve them with products, solutions, whether it's products that you yourself create or other people have and you earn a commission from. That's called affiliate marketing. So let's say you are a podcaster, right? Well, a podcaster cannot directly communicate with their audience through podcasting apps, generally speaking. So choosing something like an Instagram or perhaps Twitter, these platforms are great to build relationships on, right? They're not meant to be used as broadcasting platforms. This is where email would come in and lay over top of any sort of content platform that you have to be able to better communicate with your audience that way. But a social network to be able to connect with your audience on directly, Facebook perhaps, LinkedIn, these places allow you to connect with your target audience directly, understand more about their story, empathize with them, immerse yourself in that space, and then be able to better serve them with products and offerings. In fact, we had Roberto Blake at one of our events, Audience Driven, which happened recently, who was talking a little bit about this. Let me play a clip where he's talking about this idea of one content platform and one communication platform.
But I would say then what you should do is you should have a content platform and then a communication platform. You should be on YouTube and Instagram, or YouTube and Twitter, or YouTube, Twitter, and Instagram. And the reason why, YouTube does not have a DMs function for your audience for you to be able to build one-to-one relationships with them or with brands. The other thing is you need a communication platform as a backup in case something happens to your YouTube channel. Yes, you should be building an email list, but the majority of your audience, and even in a public facing way to be able to make a statement when you need to, will exist likely in overlaps on Instagram and or Twitter because of the sheer number of people who use those platforms globally. So I believe in that. So there's not that much energy beyond the energy that takes to make a YouTube video to be present in either Instagram or Twitter as micro content platforms where you might just need to be able to send a message either in DMs or publicly communicate to your audience or go live in a way that you're not punished for in the YouTube algorithm for a piece of content that's not meant to be longevity based content where you just need to talk to your people.
Big shout out to Roberto Blake. If you aren't following him, make sure you do. Link in the description below. All right, now the fourth one is choosing one monetization strategy, right? one form of monetization. Yes, there are millions of ways, maybe thousands of ways to generate an income online, but you could do anything from sponsorships and advertising to selling your own products, digital products, physical products. You could run events. You can run a membership community or a program that brings people in your space in. You can be a matchmaker and charge for that. You can do affiliate marketing. You can do so many different things to generate an income. But if you try to do all of them at the same time, again, the one thing is what we're talking about here, you're going to have a much easier time. And where does this come from? Well, it should come from those conversations that you have with people on that communication platform who are in that target audience, who learned about you on that single platform. You see how this works now? You see how we're making it a little bit easier on ourselves to have this approach of starting a business? And no, you're not going to get rich overnight doing this, but you will find an audience who will find you and understand that you are a resource for help for them, and you can offer them products and services, offerings, and other things that might be able to serve them. One thing though to start with. So it might be a coaching program. You might find that people in the space that you found, maybe it's runners like we talked about earlier, maybe they need an accountability person so you can become their coach. And what you do is you find one person. Here's the fifth and final one. With that monetization strategy, find one person and get them a result. Because finding one person is so much easier than finding 100 or 1,000 people. But when you find that one person, you're going to find the method to talk to and communicate and have that person be interested in what you have to offer. You're going to be able to figure out what it's like to actually work with them and recommend things. And you're going to see where the pushback comes from. You're going to be able to better fill in the holes that you don't even know exist yet as you are helping that person through. And when you get that one single result, it changes things up here because you now have the confidence to go out there and serve more people like them. And now you also have a testimonial to go with it. So we're actually talking about a 1-1-1-1-1 strategy, right? One single niche market, one content platform, one communication platform, one form of monetization, and get one person, one result. Start there. And then you can scale. And you might find that after giving one person this result, after going through this process, you're like, wow, Pat, I don't even really like this anymore. It's not my cup of tea. Well, you can go back to the thing that still provided you some excitement. Maybe it's a different form of monetization, or maybe it's a different niche market, or maybe it's a different platform, but at least you're taking an iterative approach like I always talk about, because this thing is very overwhelming and I'm here to make things easier for you. So make sure you subscribe because I got a lot more coming your way. Let me know what you think. And if you are doing some of these things, tell me what parts of your 1-1-1-1-1 are. Thanks so much. Appreciate you. More coming your way. Peace.